From the author of Spinsterella, A Strange and Unusual Romance comes Spellbound, a darker shade of black. Get Spellbound this Halloween in paperback and ebook at online booksellers everywhere. Many of your pro-blacks, your hoteps, and many other Afro-American Negroes in the black community will tell you that the Afro-American Negro male is at the bottom of the world. And their reasons for the Afro-American Negro male being at the bottom of the world have to do with white supremacy and racism. Now, there is white supremacy and racism in the world. However, that's not the primary reason why your Afro-American Negro male is at the bottom of the world. Now, what has to do with the Afro-American Negro male being at the bottom of the world has to do with his perception of self. And in order to understand this Negro male's perception of self, you have to understand his frame of reference. Now, many of these Afro-American Negro males come from these single mother households. And your single mother primarily has a low self-esteem. And because she sees herself as low, she, as the first teacher of culture, teaches her son to see himself as low. And because he is on his knees looking up at her, he starts seeing himself at the bottom of the world. And because he has this perception of self, he sees himself as last in the world, and because he sees himself as last in the world, he never focuses on making himself the best person he can possibly be. Many of these Afro-American Negro males, because they have no father in the home, never learn the whole concept of putting themselves first. Because a man who understands that he has to put himself first is a man who understands how to be a leader in his own life. And because a man is putting himself first, he is setting goals for himself that will help him move himself forward. And this is something your Afro-American Negro male does not get in these female-headed households. In these female-headed households, he learns how to be a follower. And what he learns is that instead of putting himself first and putting his goals first, he needs to learn how to please and appease others. And this is what pretty much sets this Negro male back, because he's learning from day one that he has to put the needs of a female first, and that first female is his single mother. The second person he learns that he has to put in front of him is a white man. And this is not a physical white man. This is an imagined concept and a construct of a white man. And because he is putting these two people first, he is dead last. And this is why your Afro-American Negro male has such a hard time achieving anything or accomplishing anything, because he does not make himself a priority. He does not put his needs first. He never learns how to put his needs first because he has never had a father or male figure to model that example for him, to show him, look, you need to put your needs first. You need to put the goals you want to accomplish first, and they need to be made a priority. These other people are going to be taken care of, but you need to take care of you. And this is something your Afro-American Negro male, in many cases, does not get in his formative years. This is not the culture he is taught from day one. Because if a male is taught this from day one, his whole mindset is pretty much completely different. Because that male is focused on the goals he wants to accomplish and the things he wants to do. And he understands that he needs to get involved with people who want to help him achieve the goals he wants to accomplish. Now, your male who comes from a female-headed household, he learns to put his goals last. And the reason why he learns, again, is because he was raised by that single mother. And she's put this idea in his head that he has to take care of women, he has to protect women like his mother, he has to support women like his mother. And that's not his job. In his formative years, he needs to be learning how to focus on himself, doing the best he can in school, trying to find work that will help him build up his skills, and becoming the best man he could possibly be. But many of these black males, what they learn from day one is, I gotta take care of mama, and then they transfer that codependent relationship they have with their mothers right over to their girlfriends, and they put her needs first instead of his own. This is why many of your Negro females pretty much will go out here and get these degrees and then get these high-powered jobs, because many of these Negro males don't put themselves first. They put the female first, and then they put this imaginary white man in front of them. And because they have these two people in front of them, they're winding up behind the 8 ball from minute one. They're losing the race before they even start, because they do not make their own needs a priority. And this is the big problem with your Afro-American Negro male, because if we compare his behavior to the African male or the West Indian male, they have a completely different perception of the world. Your African male, because he has a father in the home, pretty much puts himself first. And your West Indian male, because he has a father in the home, is putting himself first. And this is why those two black men, and even black men from the UK, put themselves first. And this is why all those black men who live outside of the United States are extremely successful, because these men have learned from day one they have to put themselves first. They have learned they have to make their needs a priority. They have learned they have to set goals for themselves. They have learned they have to establish standards for themselves. You don't see that with your Afro-American Negro male. Your Afro-American Negro male, from day one, again, is learning everybody else is first and he is last. And that is a trait that many simps, manginas, and nice guys learn. And this is why they always finish last, because they never put themselves first. If these guys were to have learned the way your African male, your West Indian male, your UK black male had learned, and even your and males internationally, they would be ahead in the game, because those men learned from day one how to put themselves first. They had models for manhood. And this is the big problem. This is why your Negro male is last, because there is no model for manhood in the black community. There is no standard for manhood in the black community. And when you have a female establishing the standard for manhood, it is always going to be second best. And this is why your Negro male will always be in last place and last in his own place, because in his mind, he is last. He does not see himself as important. He does not see himself as having a value. He does not see himself as having a worth. He believes his only purpose in life is to serve these females, and maybe possibly serving this imaginary white man in his mind. And because he has that perception of the world, he always winds up last. And this is not how a man is supposed to be. A man is supposed to learn how to take care of his own needs and take care of himself first. He has to learn how to put himself first, because the only person who's going to put you first is you. And when you put yourself first, that's how people take you seriously. The man who puts himself first will be regarded as first by others, but the man who puts himself last is the person no one is going to consider a priority, nobody's going to take seriously, and no one is going to have a single regard for at all. And when you're a man, you have to put yourself first. If you do not set yourself and say, I am number one in my own life, and I am the one who has to be meet my needs, no one else is going to try to help you meet your needs. So you have to put yourself first. And this is something your Afro-American Negro male has to learn how to do. He has to learn how to put himself first and put everybody else behind that, because it's not your job to take care of other people. It is your job to take care of you. And how you take care of you is this. You take care of yourself. You keep yourself clean. You make sure you have clean clothes. And you go out and try to accomplish what you want to accomplish in life. You make your goals number one, because if the only person who's going to help you achieve your goals is you. And if people see you going out to achieve your goals, those people are going to try to support you, because you're putting yourself first. And the only person who ever gets ahead in life is the person who puts themselves first. And this is something your Afro-American Negro male has to learn, because if you don't put yourself first, the world is going to put you dead last. And this is why your Afro-American Negro male these days is dead last in the world, because he never takes the time to go out and put himself first. Because when you put yourself first, everybody sees you as important, people take you seriously, and they see you as somebody they need to value and regard. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.